the YouTube channel Armchair Violence. The fella that was featured a few times in Hard to Hurt videos at the RKM gym with Icy Mike. Yeah, I was from my voice here. Um, so yeah, he's a wrestler that talks a lot about striking, right? He he speaks a lot about his striking arts that he mainly noticed a little bit about, and the rest he probably researched on YouTube. Majority of the time, the stuff he talks about and puts down is either a striking art or something about striking when he knows so little about either. My experience with wrestling, grappling, whatever you want to call it, personally, I think wrestling and grappling two different things. Is that three times in my life I've just playfully messed around with some. The first time in school, just messing around, I lost because I didn't realize the first person that goes on the ground actually loses the match. Because I was trying to pull their person down, and I touched the ground first, trying to use my weight to pull theirs down. And I didn't know this person knew wrestling. Um, I also remember their pants were falling down too, and I was trying to like lift them up. And where I was trying to grab underneath their legs, their pants were falling down so much that I couldn't really get a good grip, really. So yeah, I remember that. Second one, messing around with a friend. I didn't use a lot of my lower body. I knew how to, but there was this thought in the back of my mind for some strange reason. I didn't want people knowing that I knew understood the principles of some like grappling stuff and whatnot. So yeah, the second time because I lost that first time I didn't like that, so I used more of my body. They was like, oh man, I was messed up on some what reggae or something. I forget the name of it. Some type of like Robitussin they took. It was a little bit sick or something. Had a stomach ache. They're like, oh, I probably lost because of that. So oh, another time I wrestled with that same person, and they got on top of me and held me down. I could not move. So yeah, a little bit of just messing around playfully. So I'm gonna talk about wrestling today, although I know very little about it. It's how a little experience I got, just like armchair violence. I'm talking about these grappling arts. I'm talking about this is something I actually believe. By the way, this is not just some junk I'm making up just to make fun of this person. There's this big old thing on YouTube. A lot of people in grappling arts, whether it be Brazilian Jiu Jitsu nerds or people that are MMA fighters, which MMA started with BJJ, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Okay, so um, they always talk about, or they always mostly go to or influence with fighting to go do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So many people say it's so great, it's so great, it's so great for self defense, or either that, or so much more better, and this and that, and blah blah blah. You got good takedown defense, and you know what to do if you come to a ground. Because people got this saying that all fights end up on the ground, and they say it like all fights end up with two people almost intentionally going to the ground, which is bullcrap. Why almost all fights end up on the ground is because two people lose their balance, one person loses their balance, and the other gets on top of them. So the people that talk about, takedown in the street, where are these great takedown people in the street that are street fighters? Like, did they like take a little bit of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and then go fight in the streets or something, or wrestling? Well, you don't know, man. Somebody could have took wrestling in high school and take somebody down. Yeah, you're right. I don't know everything. But they kind of play it off like there's always these great people that just take people down like they're nothing in the street, like some random street thug is going to have a good takedown. I don't think a random street thug is going to have a good double leg, single leg, or any sort of takedown at all. I think you're probably also going to see it coming too. I just don't see where some people think that. Well, it's good to defend takedown defense because takedown in the streets, man. And I think that's a bunch of pooey. I just don't. I haven't seen. I just don't see where these great legendary people that take you down and that is such and such. The most I've seen two people go down is when they're clenched up and somebody falls, trips over their own feet or something on the ground. So there's that. Then the other one, what is it? There's this big thing around pulling guard. Okay, pulling guard, and a jujitsu class which I never took. Well, from what I've seen, it's mostly controlled. You do this controlled fall where you and your partner, one gets on you, you fall back, they kind of fall with you. They don't try to resist. They don't try to resist not falling with you, or they come near you, and it's a equal exchange. It seems equal exchange, and they pull guard and they grab you. So people talk about this pulling guard. There's always these terms for each fighting thing. Like boxers got like, "Oh, get in the ring with me." Cage fighters go, "Well, get in the cage with me." Wing Chun people have, "Well, touch hands with me." And Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners have, "Get up in my guard," pretty much. So let's talk about this concept of this guard. So, which they do on mats. Some people say, well, if they do it on mats that much with pressure testing, they can do it on the inner surface, which is bullcrap. That's like saying you can walk on carpet just fine, and you should be able, being walk on carpet barefoot, you should be able to walk on rocks. That's not the same thing. So imagine this idea of getting this guard. Somebody comes forward, tries to attack you or swings at you, and then all of a sudden, when they get close, you try to fall back and let them fall onto you, kind of like a sacrifice fall, and let them fall and they get in your guard, or you grab onto them and pull them down with you as you fall, I guess, on cement or something out there while holding your head up, maybe having no clue what's behind you that might hurt your head or body on the way down, possibly. Also, another thing too, I don't know if you take jujitsu. Please let me on. Please tell me this. Is I don't know. Um, do you start up standing and then like always do a controlled fall to the ground? Are you both on your knees and you get on the ground, one of you? And if you do a controlled fall, have you ever tried doing a hard quick one? If somebody randomly comes at you and starts swinging and opens up, and then you just fall back at them, what if somebody from a distance like ran at you and charged you? Even if it's just like 10 feet, is that the same thing as gently falling back? Can you really time that quick enough? Okay, here, here, here. Okay, now whoop. I don't see that happening. I don't. Um. So yeah, another thing too. There's I was talking to the person a day ago on a video chat, and when I finally got to my point where he thought I was talking about cross training, I was talking about this is something where people are saying now, which I'm glad they are saying, because this is a big misconception about the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu thing. I think as soon as somebody gets in their face and starts hollering, and then all of a sudden tries to set up a sucker punch or they see a punch coming, they're probably not going to know how to defend that. As far as the idea of falling back in this guard, they're probably not going to handle that pressure and that aggression. And whoever thinks that they can just get in some perfect spot with this person while on the ground, some people are like, well, I've seen this video, I've seen this video. Let's get to the majority of these videos that are out there that I've seen. All right, about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu working in the streets, okay? um, the main last video I seen, two videos I seen, one Mexican martial arts did a review where two people were fighting. They both agreed to fight. Crowd was around them. Other dude got their dude jiu-jitsu hold and just held him there. Then eventually the crowd beat him, or they wouldn't let him go. But this other one, this person was active about it. He was trying to get up on this person. And the thing this other person did, from all I remember, he did not just try to fall back. Okay? He did not just try to just straight up fall back in some guard. When that person went towards him, he went towards him also to take control, to match the same amount of pressure with his pressure. All right. So he took a offensive measure in a defensive way. Okay. Because, and that right there is, I think, where it has to make sense. You can't have this distance where one person is standing there with no momentum, and the other person's at a nerve distance away. They have a few feet to make momentum, and to just think it's going to be that simple to use it against them to fall on your back. Now, I do think possibly this dude kind of did somewhat pull guard or try something, or maybe he did a like throw, sort of. And this is a weird thing. I've heard. Was it Don Fry said BJJ is a watered down version of judo? It really seems like judo would be better than BJJ because it doesn't really teach you the whole staying on the ground thing. For what I know of BJJ from watching videos a little bit. So the idea of somebody coming towards you and you meeting them with that and then taking control of them in that clinch, in that standing clinch, which I don't think is in BJJ. It's in other martial arts like karate and Izzo Wing Chun shows some stuff with Wing Chun and Muay Thai and this and that. But a lot of these other arts, they have this problem of standing with their feet parallel, being square instead of a good position. They fixed their feet a little bit better to be a lot more better. The idea of a wrist lock or arm lock, I'm not talking about where somebody just has the arm, then you just grab it and do this and that, but whatever. I think is way more superior than the idea of going to the ground. And also the whole thing, well, you can shoot in for a double leg takedown. Somebody tries to swing at you. If some police officers possibly, if they saw a videotape of somebody being aggressive with you, and if you were trying to restrain them before they even laid a hand on you, technically, I believe due to some laws, because self-defense is a legal term. Freaking, I ain't getting that. Some laws might say, well, you attacked them. Some person was just running their mouth, and you just straight up just tackled them, and then they fell on the ground, and then they hit their head, and then they started to bleed out their head, etc., etc., etc. So, all this whole thing of, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the best martial art. What's that Navy SEAL person? I forget his name. He was like, well, I can either just run, or if they get close, then I can use my Jiu-Jitsu. And I hate saying this, as it was a tough Navy SEAL. Do people claim this stuff? I have no freaking clue. That said it. And that kind of reminds me of that time that I forget the fellow's name. He used to be on some blade show where they made blades. And he's like, well, if people far away with a bunch of guns and knives, I can't do nothing. But when they get close, I can do this and do all this stuff because I know all this. That's bullcrap. There's all this fantasy land with striking martial arts, and there's a fantasy land with grappling martial arts. And I believe that's the truth right there. So if you think there's a bunch of people out there that are so great at takedowns that you gotta be able to defend it with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or going to the ground, taking a fight to the ground, because all fights still up on the ground, is the best cause of option by falling back guard or whatever, or you think the best cause of action is to get them on the ground, saying you can possibly control the weight of a full-grown person falling with dead weight without hurting herself, is really the best cause of action for self-defense, to protect yourself and also not harm them and look good in the eyes of the law. I just don't see it. As always, thanks for watching.